Airline history in the US is really a fascinating topic. Through much of the 20th century's tail end, commercial airline hubs were present at various airports across the US, notably in centrally located cities like Nashville. Unfortunately, as time passed, mergers and financial issues led to the closure of many hubs, including the American Airlines Nashville hub. Today, we're flying from what was once an American hub to what is now the airline's second largest hub, Charlotte, North Carolina. Good evening from Nashville International Airport. It's a little after 11 p.m. and I've just arrived on my Allegiant flight from Peoria. Instead of leaving the airport and getting a hotel, I spent the 6 hours that I had here roaming the terminal before my next flight. I had no idea the main terminal was recently renovated, so it was a pleasant surprise to see how fresh and modern this part of the airport was. The airport recently opened a satellite extension of its C concourse last year in addition to a new Concourse D. There are two other wings of the terminal housing Concourses A and B, and there's even a small subsection of T gates, which basically denote the fact that these gates are located in the central main building. The atrium between the A, B, and T concourses has a small food court, but of course at this time of night, nothing was open. My flight would be departing from gate T6, which, despite being labeled as a T gate, is very much located in the B concourse wing. So at first, I didn't really know what to do during my 6-hour layover. I spent the first 2 or so hours in the B concourse trying to be productive. That didn't really work, so I kind of just did whatever I could to keep myself entertained. The terminal was quiet for the most part, but there was a brief period where a bunch of delayed flights began arriving, which gave it some temporary chaos. Otherwise, Nashville being a major airport, lots of aircraft remain overnight here, and I thought it was especially funny how JetBlue uses gate B6 because if you didn't know, B6 is JetBlue's airline code. This is actually the second airport I've been to where I've seen JetBlue using gate B6, the other one being Albany, New York. Nashville Airport has grown a lot in recent years and continues to see rapid growth. That's the main reason why the Airport Authority introduced the BNA Vision and New Horizons projects, which involve a lot of modernization and expansion. As you've seen, the main central terminal was recently renovated as part of the BNA Vision project, and I was just blown away. This is truly on the level of airport terminals that we should be seeing more of here in the States. Plenty of seating, workstations, lounge chairs, and space, most importantly. I don't know why I filmed this, but even the bathrooms were super clean and fresh looking, so that's definitely a nice thing to have at airports. Now, I was learning a lot of new things on this trip, and here's just another example. Fraport is a German company that's best known for operating Frankfurt Airport, and I had no idea that they had an American division as well. Well, sure enough, Fraport USA controls concessions not just in Nashville, but also in Baltimore, Cleveland, Washington Reagan, Dulles, JFK Terminal 5, and Newark Terminal B. The T-gates in Nashville are mainly used by international flights, including pre-cleared arrivals from Air Canada and WestJet. However, American uses a significant amount of them in addition to their gates in the C concourse. Parked at gate T5 tonight was the gorgeous American 737 in the chrome retro livery. I flew this exact aircraft in 2014, and this aircraft being here tonight kind of served as a throwback to when not only this livery, but American Airlines as a whole would rule Nashville Airport in the late 80s to the early 90s. That's right, from 1986 to 1995, American Airlines operated the Nashville hub from right here in Concourse C. The hub peaked in 1993 with 265 daily departures to 79 cities, including my hometown of Champaign, Illinois. Besides the majority of flights being to cities across the US and some in Canada, American even had a flight from Nashville to London Gatwick. Now, unfortunately, the Nashville hub was always operating at a loss. The early recession of the 1990s, in addition to a lack of local passengers, eventually led to American abandoning the hub in 1995. Not long after, Southwest Airlines came in and took over most of American's gates and quickly became Nashville's largest airline, today controlling over 51% of the market share. American has since dropped to Nashville's third largest airline behind Delta and Southwest, but they continue to operate a decent number of flights, including some interesting routes to Austin, Cancun, Tampa, and Raleigh-Durham. And as for the Nashville-London service, British Airways eventually brought it back in 2018 with service to Heathrow on the 787. That service has since been upgraded to a 777-200ER. Eventually, I got tired of walking around and found a nice spot to chill for a bit in these new lounge chairs at the T-gates. I was here for about 2 to 3 hours before the airport started coming back to life. After grabbing some much-needed breakfast, I headed back to the B concourse to wait for my flight. This morning, we're on board American 1928 to Charlotte, which thankfully has not been delayed or canceled. The aircraft that was supposed to be taking us to Charlotte never left Dallas the night before, and that inbound flight was canceled. This meant that we were swapped onto the 737 that arrived the night before from Phoenix. This is a pretty unique 737 too. I mean, look at the registration, November 200, November Victor. If anyone has any background on this registration, please let me know, because I think this is the only plane in the American fleet with an NV registration. NV is a registration suffix commonly found on Allegiant airplanes, so it's really interesting to see this on an American Airlines aircraft. Boarding started a couple of minutes late since it seemed that there was some delay in towing the aircraft into the gate. I'd be boarding in Group 6, and thankfully the boarding process wasn't super hectic. American's Boeing 737-800 has 172 seats with 16 in first class and 156 in main cabin. I'm in 22A for this flight, and like I've covered before, the seats are decently padded with adjustable headrests. These Kodiak seats have become the mainstay across most of American's mainline narrow-body fleet. The top of the seatback features the literature pocket, followed by the personal device holder that can hold up to an iPad. Each seat has a USB-A port, a tray table, and a personal seat pocket at the bottom. The seat pitch is around 30 to 31 inches, which I didn't find really bothersome, especially with a tiny bag in front. Each seat also has a universal power outlet at the bottom, along with air vents, reading lights, and call buttons overhead.
If needed, exit path lighting in the aisle will illuminate near the floor to guide you to an exit indicated by signs and lights. In the event of an emergency, leave all belongings and proceed to the closest usable exit.
This was a short 52 or so minute flight across to Charlotte. I fell asleep shortly after takeoff, so I don't think there was any refreshment service, and I don't even think the seatbelt sign was ever turned off. I just thought it was worth mentioning that this exact plane used to have seatback entertainment up until American decided to ditch this fantastic cabin in favor of the Kodiak seats a couple years back. A pretty bad decision in retrospect, considering both United and Delta are favoring seatback entertainment across most of their mainline planes. It was a pleasant morning flight across Tennessee, the Smoky Mountains, and some of North Carolina. Charlotte was the 5th busiest destination from Nashville in 2023, serving around 411,000 passengers. Our approach brought us in from the northwest before we flew west of CLT Airport on downwind, briefly dipping into South Carolina before making a 180 and coming back into North Carolina to land on runway 36 left.
Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign is turned off, and keep the aisles clear of all carry-on items. Take a moment to check your seat back pocket for any personal items, like tablets and cell phones. When you open the overhead compartment, be careful, as items may have moved in flight. And thank you for choosing American Airlines.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment much on this flight, mainly because I slept through most of it. Despite the non-existent service, it was a smooth but quick flight across to Charlotte, and the cabin was comfortable enough. This was my first time at CLT in over 3 years, and I was kind of happy to be back at first, but my excitement would soon diminish, as you'll see in the next flight's video. We'd be arriving at Charlotte's Concourse D, which primarily caters to international flights. The reason for this is because this aircraft's next flight would be to Willemstad in Curaçao. And fun fact, a large number of passengers on this flight were from a group of Boy Scouts heading down to Belize. Believe it or not, that 737 next door would be operating their flight to Belize City. So this is a bit of an abrupt ending, but I didn't film much after this. Thanks a lot for tuning in today, and I will see you very soon for my onward flight to Chicago. Take care everyone, and goodbye.